Hello guys, today we are talking about harder indefinite integration. Okay, so let's move into this part. So we already said for the integration for x power of n dx, we can set that power plus 1 and then over the new power n plus 1, right? So for this kind of the integration, we can set x power of n plus 1 over the n plus 1 plus the c. Okay, the total steps is first add 1 to the power. Secondly is to divide by the new power. Third is to add a c after it. Okay, that is several steps here. So for example, like the integration 1 over x4 power 4 dx, we can first try to understand it as integration power of x power of -4 dx. So it can be considered as the power plus 1 over the new power is -3, and then added a c, right? So that it can be considered as x power of -3 over -3 plus 3, sorry for that, and then plus c, okay? So that can be written as -1 over 3 x power of -3 plus c, okay? That is for the integration here. And also for here, we have such solutions, okay? And also another example like here is 1 over square root x, right? So square root x can be considered as x power of a half, right? So 1 over x power of a half can also be considered as x power of -1 over 2 integration, right? That is for this part. So for this kind of integration, we can say that is x power of, so first is add a new power and then over the new power plus c, right? So it can be considered as x power of a half over a half plus c, that is 2 times x power of a half plus c, right? That is how do you evaluate the integration here? Okay. And also for this example, first we can just try to divide it into different parts. So you can say that is first integration x over square root x dx and plus integration 1 over square root x dx. Just consider as a polynomials. So first it is integration x power of a half dx, then plus x integration power of x power of -1 over 2 dx, right? So for the first part is power plus 1 over the new power is x power of a half plus 1 over a half plus 1. And then plus the power plus 1 over the new power is negative a half plus 1. And then plus c, right? And plus c. So we can say here that is for 2 over 3 x power of 3 over 2, then plus 2 times x power of a half plus c. That is the final answer here, okay? That is solutions. Okay. So what about some other examples like here? Like we have the function, and we already have the differentiation equation is x squared plus 1 over x squared, right? So finding the equation of the curve, we can set fx equals to integration x squared plus 1 over x squared. So this can be considered as x power of -2, right? dx. So integration is power plus 1 over the new power. That is for x2 plus 1 over 2 plus 1 plus x power of -2 plus 1 and over -2 plus 1 and plus c, right? So this part is for x cubed over 3 plus x power of -1 over -1 plus c, right? So that is the final equation here. But remember here, it passes through 1, 0. You can also put 1, 0 into this as 0 equals to 1 over 3 plus 1 over -1 plus c. So c equals to 1 minus 1 over 3. That is for 2 over 3. Okay, that is it. So we have the equation here, fx equals to x cubed over 3 plus, maybe here is minus 1 over x plus 2 over 3. That is our final integration formula here, okay? So also the solutions, and here is indefinite integration 2. So we can set for this problem like dy over dx equals 3x plus 1. So first we can just try to set it as for 3x squared over 2 minus x plus c. If some point is given, we can also calculate the exact value of c, okay? That is for this problem. Okay, that's that for today's overall lesson. Hope you can understand it for the harder indefinite integration. That's for today's lesson. See you next time. Bye.